Yeah, I mean, I really got into it as a result of Lizzie. I've always liked fashion, but obviously studying international development, I became very aware of the social issues surrounding fashion and the fact that there's a lot of exploitation within the fashion industry, and also looking more recently at the issues of climate change and the impact of the fashion industry on climate change. It's really a very unsustainable world. The kind of work that Lizzie does is really important because it's fusing sustainability with something that is fashionable, which is funky, and so people aren't just going to be like, oh, I have to wear sackcloth, oh, I have to wear, you know, really boring kind of staid sort of stuff like Howie's, which is good quality, very well made, and you know, very enduring, but it's not really got a funky edge. It's, you know, it's your classic staples, whereas with recycled fashion you've still got that ability to play around, have fun, be a bit sort of extravagant at times and a bit funky, but at the same time everything that is used, at least with Antiform, you know, from the buckles to the zips are recycled, so we're just reusing what's been discarded, so it's a really sustainable sort of way to do things. A lot of the time, I mean, Howie's is not using recycled materials, and neither are a lot of the other kind of you know, organic cotton industries, etc. So it's still not that sustainable. It's maybe more environmentally friendly in terms of, you know, not using really chemical dyes, using more organic dyes and using like more organic materials, but it's still not that sustainable.
The ethical side's really important, particularly in today's climate. It's like we're losing community and the element of kind of that old cliche of knowing your neighbours, you know, and I think particularly in the creative industry it's becoming more and more about digital age and people maybe not meeting each other face to face, and I think this project is allowing people that maybe wouldn't have met to come together and do something quite exciting. And you know, not only clothes wise is it ethical with the, you know, recycling and stuff, but also it's emotionally important. I think generally people are quite switched off, and I think that's a bad thing. I think it, you know, I love fashion, I love Nike trainers, and I love Gucci bags, and I love all the things that everyone else loves, but I think there is moral issues about being a consumer these days that you need to take note about, definitely. And hopefully, you know, Liz will be able to set up in other places, in other cities and stuff, and it'll be able to kind of come together as a common ground that people kind of do. This is what people do with old clothes, you know.
I think Kiwi Fruit was a popular one. Got the thumbs up.
Really? That song is.
Yeah, that one's not so much for eating.
I do arts and crafts workshops with a range of different people, range of different abilities, kind of in schools, and festivals, and kind of community places really. So, well, today we've come here to do some arts and crafts. It's in a reclaimed building, so a building that has sort of become a bit decrepit under the care of the council, and so we're trying to show that creative things can be done in a really usable space if it's just given a bit of attention. And we're using.
My bikie man has got one of them on his hand.
Oh, I see. And we're using quite a lot of reclaimed and recycled materials, so like old socks have been brilliant, so yeah, loads of people donated old socks, and yeah, we're making sock puppets and sock monkeys and yeah, different things. We get it from 25 Spaces because yeah, they're kind of the bits that they tend not to be able to use. Do you guys want to show how what you've made out of these?
Do you want to show Cassie your monkey, Leanne? The socks.
So you see these socks, these are kind of made out of bits of material that are too small really to make anything maybe substantial with it, but I mean that for us is perfect for the kind of thing we're doing, because you can make little outfits for the sock puppets, or you could make little toys out of them as well. So yeah, I mean it all gets used, and like kids love all these different patterns, material, they absolutely go crazy for it. So
on a really simple level, ThreadMe as a screen printing process generates waste, and one man's waste is another man's treasure, or a person's treasure, And so like Antiform is going to be taking a lot of the stuff that we kind of mess up that we can't really utilise, and you guys are going to take it. That's really exciting. One of the examples of that cyclical process is we'll be doing a lot of the screen printing for Beat Herder Festival, which is this wicked little local festival. And anything they don't sell, they'll then donate to Antiform, which is going to kind of like turn it into something else, instead of it going to landfill or a bin or something like that, where it basically just doesn't get the opportunity to break down and turn into other products. In the future, we could do anything, couldn't we? I think like classes, we're going to get like a caravan, like mix up, because I think Antiform's a little bit female at the moment. Like there's a lot of your stuff is based towards females, whereas ours isn't so much so. So like we'll hopefully be able to work together to offer something and get people interested in pimping up their clothes, both male and female.
My name's Richard, this is Eileen, my mum. We've just been setting up a new project called Rematerialise, which is to try and pull together lots of different people from different generations and different cultures using recycled products to make something that's of worthwhile value, and perhaps even things that will be handed down and kept in the future families.
This fabric it comes from a mill on the outskirts of Leeds, where they produce high quality fabric, often specific orders for celebrities and such like. And when they're producing a new fabric, they have to run a certain length of fabric through the loom. And in the process of doing this, they try different colours, different colour strips, and it just produces a short length of one colour fabric, which they cannot use in manufacturing. So these donated to worthwhile causes. This is an example here. The fabric.
I haven't held that one before, really.
That fabric, it's the same colours running that way, but then the different colours were woven across. And obviously manufacturing it's no good, but as an individual basis they could take advantage of all the different colours that are in it. This fabric was donated to a scrap store on a swap. Well, we don't know the origins of it, but the person who owned the scrap store didn't feel that she would have use for it and said, could we use it in our sewing group? I realised the skills and the machines we had, we couldn't really use this, and so I donated it to you.
I've come from a sort of corporate white collar background, and for one reason or another I've ended up having a complete midlife crisis, if you will, and changing my jobs and changing what I was doing. But it's been really interesting how many different little community projects there are. So it shows that passion, there's energies there, but in a lot of cases people don't really know where to take that next step, and perhaps I might be able to help with some of those with sort of some of my business and entrepreneurial background. And
there's so much stuff gets wasted if you know, these fabrics. It's a shame to waste them when they can be reused for something. So.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Well, this is it. Part of the trouble today is because the things are made for next to nothing in these third world countries. People buy them so cheap, because they're so cheap they don't even bother sending the button back on them, throwing them away. It's wrong.
The Primark and that sort of mentality is just not something that I've ever really engaged in. But to be honest, until recently, looking into it, I've never thought about it in a great deal of detail. It's just never been somewhere that I would shop, because I knew the quality of the things I would pour, because the nature of how they've been done and how they've been created.